What up, Weekly Wisdom fam? It's your boy Sean John back in the building. So, Weekly Wisdom this week. I was going to tell you a story first. So, I was doing an interview for my church's school of ministry. I'm trying to become a part of that program and really work towards increasing my spiritual knowledge and really working on my spiritual wellness. And the first question that got asked really, hit me for a loop. It was, what does the day and a typical day in my life look like? And that just wasn't really just the exact question. They literally said, what does a day in the life of Sean Ryan Johnson look like? And it really hit me because I was like, that's a good question. And it made me think about, what does my day actually look like? In many ways right now, I say I wake up early, I get myself together, then, I take care of my daughter during the day till my wife gets home, and then I go work out, come back, relax some, and then, my wife and I, we put our daughter to bed, and then from there, we hang out for a little bit, and then we go to bed, and then we do it all over again, depending on the day. Then, weekends we spend time with each other. Sundays is church. My wife works on Sundays as well. So it's it's a interesting balance. But then it made me think of how's that going to change when I am scheduled to go back into the office after being off for almost 6 months. But then I also thought about, that's the simple answer that I just gave, but what's the details in that? What does me getting ready in the morning actually look like? What does the spending time with my daughter look like? What do my workouts look like? Is there discipline and consistency there? What is the once you get into the fine details, what does it actually look like? And that's what our weekly wisdom is for this week, is what does your day actually look like? When you get into the minutia of your day, what does it actually look like? It's easy to be I get up, go to work, come home, eat dinner, relax, chill, watch something on Netflix, Hulu, Prime, HBO Max, whatever. But when you get into the fine details, excuse me for the plane going overhead. Okay, there we go. When you get into the fine details, what is it that can be seen? And when you look at those fine details, do you see consistency? Do you see discipline? Do you see love? Do you see honesty? Do you see trust? Do you see vulnerability? Do you see respect? Do you see care? Do you see empathy? Do you see sympathy? Do you see all these things that should be present? Do you see grace? Those things should be present during your day. And that's what I had to think about during that, is what is actually present during my day? What actually happens? What does my day actually look like? And if it doesn't look like what I want it to look like, then that's an issue. Now I know that, it's not going to always go the way I want it to be, the way plans can change, all that type of stuff. But, if I don't have goals set up and I don't achieve them, what's going on that I need to look at? So I did this project with this class I used to teach, where I used to give them a calendar, and it broke it down hour by hour. And then I broke each hour down by half an hour. Then I did it again, and I broke each hour down by every 15 minutes. And I challenged my students to say, over the next week, I want you to fill in this calendar with everything you do. I want it to be sleep, eat, nap, when you game, when you go talk to friends, the things that are scheduled. If it's unscheduled, write it in there once it happens, all those things. And then at the end of the week, when we come back to class, let's talk about what happened and how our weeks looked. And what many of them begun to realize was that they could see large pockets of time where they wasted time. And they could see pockets of time where they didn't eat. They can see pockets of time where they should have been sleeping longer based on what they wanted to do. And that's what I want to get at. If we challenged ourselves to review our week, 15-minute blocks at a time, 30-minute blocks at a time, hour blocks at a time for the next week, how will we look when we come to the other side of the week? And that is going to tell us, like, what does our day look like? And is that what we want to have it looking like? It's time for us to take inventory in ourselves. It's time for us to take stock in ourselves. Time is a resource that once it passes, we cannot get it back. I remember people telling me before I had my daughter, oh, make sure you sleep now because you're not going to get a lot of sleep when the baby comes. Like, well, you can't build up an inventory of sleep and just like a bank account of sleep and just be like, oh, I'm going to take 3 hours out here, 5 hours out here. Like, no. Once that time passes where I didn't sleep or I stayed up, like, I don't get that back. And that's what we have to think about. How are we going to create our days, plan our days, set goals for our days, give our days outlook to it being something that can be so great, that can be so magnificent, that can be something that benefits us, but also allows us opportunities to be benefit to someone else. Peace and blessings, everybody. One love.